words that I would tell people, it's several things I've learned in this process. One is listen to your gut. Like, listen to your gut. Don't listen to people. Don't listen, because everybody's gonna tell you their fear.
One. I'm turning dreams into reality. In the lab with the formula in chemistry. The memories spark and motivate. And it's one art, one shot. Now the future is yours. Go.
Did you always know you wanted to be an entrepreneur? Because when you started publishing too, I was like, wait a minute, Tiff, what is going on? Because since I wasn't talking to you consistently, seeing Tiffany L. Burgess's books come out and then other works that you were doing, I was kind of like, what is going on down there in Atlanta? So talk to me about the transition of coming out of Turner and then kind of really not just the music, but kind of becoming an entrepreneur too, because you really took the bull by the horns in terms of because now everything is about self-publishing, and you started that before that really became a thing.
So even while I was there, I started doing like little things like doing consulting, like doing what I was doing, going into companies. I had acquired a certain skill set when it came to strategy and things like that. So being able to go into a company and looking at them and talking to them and being able to tell them, hey, you could fix these 3 things and it should improve your efficiency and whatever, right? So me and a sister / coworker of mine had started an LLC. Now I can make a LLC in a matter of minutes. Like at this point, I am your girl. Okay, you know an LLC? Hey, give me this. I got you. So we had made that, and so I started really kind of going on that I started doing entrepreneurship when we did Good Stuff in 2000, right? We started there, and then I started doing that consulting thing, and then Tiffany thing, and so we published several books before Tiffany. Through Good Stuff, which Tiffany's do Good Stuff too, but poetry books do Good Stuff. My brother has one, and we did a compilation book, or that's not what it's called, but many authors. And Tiffany came about just through, how did Tiffany come about? How did we started talking about it? But she wanted to publish. I think I put something forward like, oh, I can publish, and we sat and had lunch and we decided to do that. And I'm so proud of Tiff and her work. And she's a hard worker. She's a dogmatic person. She's about it. And through that process, actually, I was like, Tiffany was the last book I did, because I was like, I don't think this is what I want to do. It was just the pieces of it, especially being a kid's book. I think doing other books was they were poems. So there was no artistry, no illustrator other than the front, all of that. Bringing all the pieces together and all that and trying to make everybody kumbaya. I was like, this is not where I want to be, especially at that point in my life where I had just left corporate. The least thing I wanted was any stress. Like I want everything to be like real easy, schmeezy, like, ooh, and watch that and look at this money roll in. And that was not the case. But so I did that for a little bit, and I found it interesting. But now I even still have people hit me up like, hey, can you publish my book? I'm like, so I'm not doing that. I recently finally took the website down because I built websites. Listen, I did everything. I built websites. I make logos. I used to, do that kind of stuff for people, make logos and stuff for them, and all kinds of stuff, like very creative. Like I'm a creative being, period. Absolutely everything I do is a creative thing. Like I enjoy that. But I'm also I have a real analytical side. So I like numbers and I like all that good stuff. Like as my numbers are coming in from my album, I'm like, okay, so let's look at that. And so if we see here and we see that this state here is where my numbers are coming from. These are my top 3. What we should, I'm just I wish I could stop it. Sometimes it's off the chain. So that's I started doing that, and then I always did music production. So I would have people still come in and I record them. Never thought like, I always felt like I was fair at music production, even at Hampton. I was like, I'm pretty good. So I never was really like, I'm charging you top dollar to come in here and come on, whatever you have. But I always did that. So I've done several projects independently for people. And one time I did all the music for a sister of mine who was doing a dance show, a dance recital. She's part of an African dance team. So me and my then boo thing, who we didn't make it, we did all the music for her thing. It was dope. Like, so I always was still dabbling in that kind of stuff. That was my entrepreneurial part of it. And then for the kids, I was doing, for my baby, radio show. So they were going to the radio once a month, and I would go meet with them, and was doing that for the school, and just building up kind of a rapport for doing that kind of stuff, this kind of children programming for radio, and them talking about, like, they would be coming in there and talking about Arbery if we were there, like, and why this is not right and blah, blah, but we want an all black talk radio, where we would sing, sometimes lift every voice and sing, Let's leave with a rousing rendition of Lift Every. So.
Yes, love Lift Every Voice and sing. Oh my gosh, that's amazing. So,
oftentimes I feel like, it's a horrible statement, jack of all trades, master of none type of thing. And somebody said something different the other day that I thought, let me get that. They were like, jack of all trades. I think they said master of some. And I was like,
I like that. That's more positive.
Right.
I feel like even with all the different things you pick up along the way, you find a way to utilize things when you don't even realize that you do. And it's like you were going to do master control at TNT, and it led to so many other different avenues. And because you had so many different tools in your toolbox, you could always pull out something and be able to transition into another area.
That was my mindset too, though. It was so interesting. Like, even so, my major at Clark, right? MBA, marketing, and information systems, right? Information systems was coupled with this thing called decision sciences, which was, you get from A to Z the most efficient way, right? And so I'm like, great, all right, marketing doesn't work. Because I really didn't like, people left Clark marketing went and, Colgate, they went to Coke, they went to, they're doing, these big brand marketing jobs, and, and it's interesting because how God works with me is he will not open a door oftentimes that I'm not supposed to walk through. I don't care how many times I beat on that sucker. I don't care how many doors I'm knocking, and he'll be like, I'm like, I went to that interview. I look good. I thought I spoke well. I thought I hit it. And they'd be like, we didn't, you were not chosen. And I was like, So it was never like, those 2 years that I got my MBA, I still worked at Turner, and I never left Turner. It just happened to materialize that I got into strategy at Turner. But it's interesting in the way that, like, when I was going for those jobs at the end of Turner, and I know these people, and I was not getting a job. You know what I mean? Like, it was so interesting. Like, it should have been a no-brainer. I know these people.
Right. But he had different plans for you.
Different plans for me. And that's when I had to, you have to. So now I start recognizing certain things like, okay. And real quick, just one time I was in London. So I used to go to London for my job about 3-4 times a year, right?
Wow.
Love London. Let me just say, if there's some place that I'll go across seas, that I would live in London. I love it.
Yeah.
Very New York, right?
Yeah.
And there was this little Jamaican spot I used to go to. So I end up, you would like this story. I end up going, I'm eating this little Jamaican spot. I end up sitting beside the producer of The Biggest Loser, right?
Wow.
Right? I don't know who he is. Just him and his wife is very extravagant, very, she's a personality. She is somebody, right? She's just a personality in the room. So, I'm sitting there and we're talking, we're hitting it off. I hit it off with folks. This is what I do. Like, it don't matter what you look like or whatever. I hit it off with you. And so at the end of the day, she was like, oh my God, honey, we're leaving here. We're going to Cannes. Well, it was great, to meet you. Oh my God, we have to continue this, blah, blah, blah. And so she was like, do you have a card? And I didn't. All right, I didn't have a card. And I was like, no, but I can write my number down. She's like, oh, no, it's not meant to be. Right? That's what she said, right? I thought, this is a lot, right? Like, really? This is not meant to be because I don't have a card? But what that stuck in my mind later on about was, if it's just easy, it's easy. Like, nobody, like, for some reason, I couldn't get her the number for some reason. Like, not just, I don't know if nobody had a pen, like, for some reason, it wasn't easy.
Right.
And it didn't work. And so now I really look at life that way a little bit. Like, not that it has to be necessarily easy, but it should be a flow to it. And if the flow is like, then, okay, wait, probably shouldn't be there. Take that with your relationships too. Like, yeah, I probably shouldn't be here. This ain't working out. This stuff.
Right.
Those were my entrepreneurial efforts. I mean, and really hoping that it all rubs off too on my kid. You know what I mean? Like, it was beautiful. Like, right now, he's even saying to me, like he has no intention of getting a corporate job, and that's music to my ears, which was not my reality, growing up. Or not my perceived reality. Like, I don't know really if my parents were like, you can't be a musician or whatever, or if it was my just thought of that. I don't remember them saying that. But I love that he's like, oh no, like, I don't want to do anything that, like, I want to do something that I like to do, that I really like to do. And I did like doing part of my corporate stuff until I didn't.
Right. Now, before we transition into the project that you've just released, are you playing with any bands currently, or?
So Soul Rising, of course, right? All female reggae band. And honestly, I really expected Soul Rising to blow up way before I did anything. Okay. Mm-hmm. We've been together 5 years, and when this pandemic is over, hopefully we'll finish our project and release it. But love those sisters. They are my sisters. And it's been a great time, like, delving into reggae, which at a high level, like, we knew, Shaggy, you know what I mean? We know Buju, you know what I mean? But really getting into reggae, like, I adore reggae, and really getting into the history of it. So quickly, the beautiful part about Soul Rise was we got together, all female Atlanta, and people took to us. So we immediately started getting kind of like these venues, like Wednesday Wind Down and Centennial Park, downtown Atlanta, and stuff like that, these things. And so then we started getting, reggae Jamaican people who kind of was like, I like what you're doing. Like, let's talk, And so then we get to talking, and, people start mentoring and stuff like that. And I got to find out more about the history of reggae from a jazz, blues perspective from the States, right? So, really that whole thing, which all integrated, right, for me. But as one of my good friends, Errol Moore, who's a reggae artist, and he also produced a lot, for big reggae folks. Mm-hmm. He was telling me about growing up in Jamaica, and how, because Jamaica is really close to New Orleans, at night they could, on the radio, pick up New Orleans radio.
Wow.
And so the influence of what they would pick up from there fed a lot of what became ska, and then became roots rock, and then, to modern day reggae. And it just was really interesting. So me playing in the band, not knowing reggae as well at the time, understanding though that reggae really has a huge jazz influence, made it easier. And then just really kind of understanding the different nuances of reggae. Their harmony is a little different, how they build is a little different. But
wow,
it's been good. Like, it's been beautiful, and it's been very spiritual, a very spiritual journey, because reggae is a very spiritual music. And it's been beautiful being able to go back and just listen to the Barris Hammonds, and listen to even modern day folks like Raging Fire, who I adore, or some of the Hawaiian reggae that's come by. I mean, reggae is huge. New Zealand, like reggae is a universal language of beauty. Like, it's beautiful.
Being from the DMV, right? You had that little bit of exposure. It's the same kind of exposure you get to like West Coast rap. Because I can remember like going out, living in LA, and Too Short played at a party. Everybody freaked out, and I was like, "Who is this?" Because you only knew like the commercial stuff. You didn't know like Too Short. Now, so it is interesting how when you really immerse yourself into that. And I want to talk to you more about that, because what styles do you play beyond reggae? Because you, like you said, in the bands you came up in, particularly from elementary all the way through college, you were doing so many different styles, but it was primarily jazz. Was it classical?
Yes. Classical.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, early jazz, jazz fusion, which, fusion is, Najee. It's your, So Amazings and all that. Whatever. And then classical, which I appreciate. Classical is where, like, when I went back and was re-emerging into music, I went and found some ensembles to join that were classical orchestral music things, because to me that's like where you get your discipline and your chops to a certain place is jazz, all that kind of
It's like your ballet to the dance, right?
Exactly, right? So you go in there and you're like, okay, let me see if I can play this here. So I actually joined a couple of ensembles here that majority right, and that was really interesting, going back into this place of then the black girl on these trumpet sections, and and I can play. So like, and I got range, and what I mean, and I still can be cocky with it from time to time. So it was interesting going back there and them looking like, she's coming in here. I am. But yeah, so classical, jazz, reggae. I think those really are the top three. I mean, I guess, everything else, to me, kind of comes from some way or shape or form. But those are three I primarily play. Yeah. And reggae to me is like, kind of an offshoot of jazz. Like, but
Oh, Tiff, so talented. Let's talk about this amazing album. Today Was a Good Day, which I love because it's a kind of a shout out back to Ice Cube, us growing up. It all just comes together. I thought the name was very creative. Everything kind of ties in perfectly, which shows it shows a bit of all your talents, your marketing, your like in terms of your strategy and your musical background. And because that is a name that's just nobody's going to forget that album name, right? So let's talk about that project. How did it start for you, and what was your process?
Yeah. So Today Was a Good Day. Interesting. I probably started, I'll say even maybe a couple years ago with some of those songs. Like, some of those songs probably came forward a couple years ago. And very similar to me talking earlier, I'm playing, Josh, come down, what you think? Doing those kind of, I think that's fire. Okay, that's my brother. Of course he's gonna say that. And I have been doing production like for Soul Rising too, some stuff here for that. And so all that, like all this was kind of a big amalgamation of things. And so different songs came at different times. I really don't know what was the first song. I can tell you what was the last song, but I don't know what was the first song that came about at the time. But I started putting these little songs away, like, I like that. Okay. I've done built it all the way out and got my little, my drums, my sounds, my everything, getting my little piece together. I like the way that feels, putting it together. I was having different people listen to it. I would listen to it, go to sleep to it, whatever it is, but appreciating for myself, not necessarily knowing whether or not I was going to do anything with it. My brother, who has always been like, oh, you need to put that out. You need to, and I'm like, yeah. And I wasn't necessarily getting that a lot from a lot of people because, why would they? But when I started I guess I had the handful of songs, and so I had started saying, I'm gonna do an EP, John. I'm gonna do an EP, 4 or 5 songs. I'm gonna do EP. That's what I'm gonna do, right? And and he was like, "Oh, good. Yeah, put it out, Tiff. I'm telling you, it's fire. You should do it. You should put it out." Yeah. I am. And and I mean, some of these songs have been done for a minute, to be honest. Like I didn't like some of them I played with on the way to finalize it, and then took it back to its original, like where I had left it, and was like, nah, I don't even like what I've done to it since I've started messing with it. The last song I actually did was the first song I released, which was Forward Movement. That was the last song I did. I did that about a couple months before I released it. Like and so Planet Venus, who is a person, she's a she's
a person and not a band.
She's a soror. Yeah, she plays keys. She is dynamic. She is dynamic. Like, so
I noticed the keys. I mean, yeah, they're beautiful.
Dynamic. So she plays for Soul Rising. So, quick story. This is how the universe works, right? We lost our keyboard player, and I, or our group decided to do different things. And so we were in need of a keyboard player. We're looking, and this is Atlanta, so there's a lot of talented people. But we couldn't find a keyboard player, a female. It's an all-female band, a female keyboard player. So I also play with a group called Orchestra Noir, who is an all-Black orchestra here in Atlanta, led by a phenomenal gentleman. It has been a joy and a pleasure to be a part of Orchestra Noir too. And we were getting ready to go to North Carolina, to Charlotte, to do this big show in Charlotte. And after doing one of the practices, we're taking a break. I'm talking to a guy. He's like, and I was like, "Hey, guy, you know, he loved our old keyboard player. So every time I saw him, he would talk about, man, that keyboard player." And I'd be like, "So let me just break it to you that she's not with us. Matter of fact, we're looking for one." And so another guy was like, "Oh, I got somebody for you, and she's perfect." And so he ended up getting us to. Her name is Vanessa. Her stage name is Planet Venus.
Wow.
And with us, and we hit it off. And then we found out we're sorors, and it was all that good stuff. So
I love that. Right,
and you're like, okay, great. And so she come over here and would play. And so I had come up with Forward Movement because I love all blues, right? Miles Davis, all blues. And I had played it recently for something. And after I played it, I was like, I just throw stuff out in the atmosphere for manifestation purposes. I said, I really want to do a song to me similar in vein to all blues, which I love. It's a classic. And so then later on, as my process differs just between songs, how they come to me. But I started hearing, a particular melody. And I was like, okay. And I started playing it. And I was here and I was like, oh, let me record that. And then I hear harmonies really well. So I recorded, I was like, okay. So I started recording my lines and stacking my lines and all of that. And so then by the time the night was done, I finished pretty much the bones of Forward Movement. I mean, more than the bones, some flesh, some, The next time she came over, I was like, hey, did this yesterday, played it for her. And so she was like, that's crazy. And so then she sat and played that beautiful keyboard. So I call her my Gil Evans. So Miles Davis had Gil Evans on keys. And she is my Gil Evans. Oh, you are my, look, where I go, you go, we go. Okay, musically, we are doing this thing. She is magical. And so even with your other one, number 4, which is Movement 1.
Oh, yes. I haven't written it too. Oh my gosh.
Movement 1 happened because she was here and we just lay down stuff from time to time, and she was here and she just laid down this keyboard and it was gorgeous. And it is, and it sounds like classic jazz, right? And so I was like, oh, let me sit with that. We have another song too that we didn't release. that I wanted to, but she doesn't like the M, so I'm trying to give her a moment to fix it because I'm like, bump it. We're going to just release it like this. Oh, I would have. It's beautiful. But yeah, so she laid that keyboard down, and I sat and sat with it for a couple days and laid my horn over it, and that became movement one. And it's like when we do stuff together, it's magical. I think a lot like writers, so you probably recognize this, right? Something comes to you, and either you're gonna write it down then, or you're gonna forget it. Like it's gonna be gone in a minute. Like, so I better get it. So thank God for an iPhone and record. So okay. So the first song, Good Morning, which I initially called Step by Step, I changed it to Good Morning maybe like the day before I released the album.
Oh my gosh. Wow.
Like really soon, right there. I was like, I'm gonna open with it. I'm gonna call it Good Morning. My brother loves that song. And
but you wrote summaries of every track. You did all of that right before you released it, like girl.
No, I literally the summaries for every track literally was me sitting there right there like
Tiff.
We just released it. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, no, it wasn't no real hard thought put into it. And so it was interesting, you know, because it really
They were good summaries. That's why I thought
each track is exactly what it is. Like it exactly is that. Like Good Morning, like Step by Step was probably I did Step by Step because it just sounds like do step to me. Walking. But each one, like it really means like the summaries really are the album is meant to be a day in the life for me, right? Which it really is. From wake to night, right? It's interesting because a lot of people have asked me about those summaries. It's interesting. And either one of my lines said, "How do you come up with the names?" I was like, really, it's whatever comes forward at the time. Like Movement One was when we were done with it, she named it Movement One and Tit Saved. And I was like, bet. Forward Movement, it was just the name that came forward after I was done. Like, oh, it's like forward. It feels like forward movement. Like it feels like you're on a journey of some sort. So it just comes forward, the names. But Good Morning came to me, and I just, you know, I literally probably still have it saved in my phone. And I'm just singing it. And then I came back down and laid that down. And that was during Christmas time.
wow.
That was during Christmas time. That wasn't too far long ago either. Like November time. I remember because my brother took it to his girlfriend's house and was like, we played that all the time during the holidays.
You write and arrange and you do all of that yourself.
Yeah, because and my thought, so I've always done fusion, right? I've always done an amalgamation of things, different genres, right? And it's my firm belief that music is it's something that brings people together, period, yeah. Right? Across any line, geographical, language barrier, it doesn't matter, right? And so that's one of the reasons why I went to study ethnomusicology at Liberty, which I'm still, you know, I'm 15 credit hours away, Lord. We're gonna see if that money comes through. But I because I just think it is the great combiner, if you will, the thing that brings people together. So I think it just doesn't matter. It doesn't matter that we don't talk the same language. You know, you can understand and feel what I'm saying through my music. And so in the same regard, I think the same way around instrumental and rap and vocal music, all of that, like, you know, like we can put all these things together and it still be beautiful and it can still tell a story and all that good stuff. And the other question I had in my mind of what I wanted to do was I really wanted to highlight just an instrument with no vocal, like, and really try to make that instrument touch and sing in the way a vocalist maybe would. You know what I mean? I feel like,
I feel like the trumpet has vocals in your album. I really do.
and it's meant to be, right? It's meant to be that thing. Like a lot of times, like today was a good day. When dude said, I can hear today was a good day being said. Thank you. That's yes. Like to me, that's like, that's what I meant.
No, but as also too with being a writer, I could hear the tracks in terms of how they score something. I mean, that for me, but you're right. That's how music does bring us all together. Everyone can feel it through how it affects them. Like you said, that guy said today, he could hear today was a good day. I could hear them like, gosh, you could put it under this scene. And especially because Terrell scores his, he scores his episodes. I have even more an appreciation of, because there's a lot of editors say they can music something and it's like, no, but composition is a whole nother.
Let me just say that you saying that to me is music to my ears, because one of my things is producing for music and producing music for television and film. Like every time I put something, I tag Spike Lee.
Movement 1 and Forward Movement are Spike Lee. Like I feel you could hear those in Mo Better Blues. Like easy. Yeah. Oh my, because it feels like it's just that culmination that comes together. But I'm telling you, do it for $1. You could put it in so many classic films too. Like you could see Paula J. White pulling up in Friday to it, or you know what I'm saying? Like just like what those tracks like mean to. Oh, I'm serious. Like it's so. I was really excited to really, because I really want to take my time to listen to it. You don't want to do one of those things where like you talk to you on Facebook and it's like, yeah, Tiff, I'm gonna listen to it. I really wanted to take time to listen to where the trumpet came in, and it is like vocals.
Yeah. And it meant to, I'm really meant for it to be there. Like I wanted like one of my favorite songs is actually What the F Are We Here For, right?
Yes.
And it's one of my favorites. And it was exactly that. Like it's me asking like, what do we do? What am I doing? What am I here for? What should I be doing? What should I be focused on? And I hope people hear the trumpet screaming. They're like, because it was my feeling. Like it really was.
That's a traveling scene in a film too.
Yeah.
Forward, it's moving you from a place like someone actually contemplating their life. It's one or the other.
And that's what it was for me. It was me contemplating, right? It was me like, even at the end, that I love that song. I remember the first time I played it for some friends, I was like, and they were like, oh my gosh, like that's really good. And it was like, yeah, I can hear what the F are we here for? Like, which always makes me happy when people say, I can actually hear it. Like, it's interesting. But what I've enjoyed the most is definitely hearing people's feedback and hearing the songs that resonate with them. And, it's been interesting, like, For John was a song I did for John. And he was like, hey, I'm going to do a podcast or like a little thing, talk about tales of a divorced man or whatever, right? And I can't remember the exact name of it. And I was like, okay. He was like, can you make me a little song? I was like, yeah. So I made a song for John, and I call it For John too, because John's first car that he ever got in life at 16. He got a car at 16. Mom, I got a car at 16. It was a little Monza. It was a little small. I mean, no one's ever heard of Monza. Like, it was a little small. But his license tag said For John. And I was like, oh, I'm gonna call this song For John. But yeah, that one, like, people love that song. Like, they love it. Like, it's so interesting to see how many people just the songs that folks resonate, that resonate with people. That's been very interesting and very rewarding, because when I put it out, so let me just say this. Let me say the process of putting it out. Another reason why Corona is beautiful, because if it wasn't for Corona,
I'm glad you said that.
I don't think I would have put it out. But I was going into it, and I'm a strategist. I am. And we're going into Corona, and I'm telling my bandmates, listen, we need to put something out, because we're about to enter a phase where they're going to lock us in the house, looking at what had happened already in China. They're about to lock us up. And what does that mean? That means we're going to have a captivated audience who's going to be consuming more social media than they ever do. Like they consume it now, but it's kind of more passive than
Right.
But they're going to be consuming it like I'm engaged, because what else do you have to do, right? So, and we just, couldn't, sometimes I see a vision, and you know how it is. You have a vision and people just don't see it with you.
Right.
They saw it later on, but I was like, okay, bet. Now, mind you, my project was done, but I'm not thinking about me. I very rarely, honestly, think about me. This moment right here is an anomaly. Honestly, like if I could have put forward a Soul Rising project ahead of mine, I would have, because I don't want to be in a spot like necessarily like that. Like I'm a little shy when it comes to it, right? Which, but I was like, okay, cool. Well, we'll see what happens. So what I had decided was, because I knew American Soul was coming out, I didn't know when. I said, well, this is what I'm gonna do, John. So I had gotten my strap. American Soul gonna come out around time American Soul comes out. At the tail of that, I'm gonna release the album. Boom, momentum from American Soul. Go get my album. You saw me there. This is what we're gonna do. He was like, okay, sounds like a good plan. So then it all shuts down, right? And we're in. And I said, bet. Two things happened. Shut down, we're in. And Bandcamp said, on this day, maybe it was March 27th, March something, we're going to, because of the coronavirus, we're going to give all of the money to the artists. We're not going to take our percentage.
Wow.
I said, bet. I'm going to release a single. So let me throw a toe out there in the water and see how the water feels. I'm going to throw a single out there on that day. My brother was like, bet. Right? And Venus was like, good idea. And so I do, right? I said, okay, I'm gonna do 4 movement. I knew the picture I was gonna use and all of that good stuff, right? And this is when all these skills come in place, right? Like it's crazy because for Soul Rising, I'm the social media, I'm the marketing, I'm the gig getter, I'm the everything. I'm pretty much the manager. And so I had built the skill set of being able to market. I've taken social media marketing, all that good stuff. And so here we are. And so I'm like this one person thing. So I put that song out there strictly because it's Corona and Bandcamp is offering this thing. And the reception was remarkable. Like I was like, remarkable for a person who's nobody, who's never put out anything. And, I was like, oh my gosh, like people really like I'm making this money off of this. Like, $10 is a profit. So I'm like, okay, but I'm making, a bit more than 10. So I'm like, okay, cool. So even then, and I felt good about it. And I was like, okay, great. Right. Even then I was like, all right, we don't need to put out the album now. Like even then I was like, nah, okay, cool. I'm good.
Yeah.
And little things happen, really, that sparks me closer to it. Something, I'll see something and I'll be like, bump it, I'm gonna do it. And so I'm sitting there and I'm like, okay, I think I'm gonna go ahead and release the whole album. But let me, I gotta tweak it. So this is, if there's words that I would tell people, it's several things I've learned in this process. One is listen to your gut, listen to your gut. Don't listen to people. Because everybody's gonna tell you their fear. You know what I mean? Like, you need to. So everyone had been telling me, when you're done, you need to go ahead and send it and get it professionally mixed and mastered, right? And I'm going, do I really though? Do I really? Like, okay, and that's money on top of money, right?
Exactly.
And I have a degree in this. Okay, but okay. Mix and match. So I'm like, all right, well, I'm gonna sit and mess with. So in my mind, I'm going, bet. This is what I'm gonna do. This is what I told Venus. I was like, this is what I'm gonna do. I'm going to release it and call it an underground release, because then people aren't going to be expecting the pristine, everything is, and I don't want that. Like, to be honest, like Erykah Badu talks about this. She talked about it in her thing with Just Got the other day about her first album was really grungy until she took it to the label and then they made it clean. And she really wished she had released the grungy version of the album. Like, I don't want it. Life isn't perfect.
Right.
Album to be perfect. I don't want it to have everything is in perfect shape, because some of that stuff is the character of how I was feeling on the song at the time. So I'm not looking for necessarily that, but everybody had been telling me this thing that you can't do it till you get a professional mixed and mastered, you know, and so I said, bump it. I'm gonna release it to underground, let them know it's coming from my basement. It's the basement series coming from my house. Like, we ain't doing it. And let you know that off top. And we're going to release it that way. Okay, bet. My brother's with it, of course. My brother's with it always. He is my biggest cheerleader. Got it, girl. So I'm like, okay. And so I go through the process of still like, oh my God, am I really going to do this? I mean, to the day that till I hit, like, what, I'm still like, no. So, you know, I get my picture together for the cover of the album now. And I
love that picture. You did that yourself?
I did, girl. I did on the app on the thing. Like, I taken the picture at some place, put it through this little whatever, and it did the little effect. And then somebody was like, that's an album cover. And I was like,
it is. It's awesome.
How to do it is that. And so I you know, doing all the background stuff with it, you know, to get the tracks ready. And my brother was like, you ready? And I kept saying, I need to do something else to this one. I need to do something else to that one. And that's why it's funny, on the last day, like, we did a listening here, me, my brother, and my son. And some of them I took back, and I was like, I don't even like what I did. I'm gonna take it back to the version that I had before this and released it that way. That's the reason why on the end of Catch the Sun, you hear me getting up out the chair, and I edited that out, and I was like, oh, it's back, because I put the original version back in. So I love that it's there. I love it. You'll hear, like, at the very end of Catch the Sun, you hear this.
Yeah. Oh, wow.
I was like, but yeah, I mean, up to that last moment, and that day, the day before, I wrote out all the little stuff about it, and about, you know, waking up, really. And that's what Catch the Sun is. Like, that is that morning, like, you know, I'm about to go get it. Like, I'm about to catch the sun. I'm about to do my thing. You know what I mean? You know, and good morning is that hello, that good morning, hello. And almost is the sounds of good morning almost sounds like three different people meet. Like, when I see it, so I see music as film. I see music as scenes. So for me, good morning is almost like three people meeting up and like it's almost like a living single, some kind of like parody or something, like.
Yeah, no, definitely, yeah. I know what you're saying. That is what we grew up in. And I want to, in terms of Bandcamp, it was funny because I read an article recently about how both Variety and Hollywood Reporter have been exploring what the business is going to look like as we start to reopen. I love it too. I actually kind of like the sheltering in place because I felt like this is going to really push people to understand, you know, we can't maybe do things the way we used to do them. And that's what I loved about streaming. Just, there isn't just one way to go in. You can't go in the front door anymore. You can go in the side, you can go in the back. And I feel like music got exposed to that very early, before series and films did. It got exposed to it because they were just, and as iTunes opened up and all of these other avenues, it forced musicians to really look at even contracts a different way. And it was tough. I mean, it was kind of like music fumbled into it. But now that people have had time to, music has had time to figure it out for a very long time now, at least a decade, if not longer. How do you feel like that it has brought so many artists to the forefront, because now they don't have to wait for a label to hear their music? If you're able to put a project together, like you said, in your basement, you can do that now.
Yeah, absolutely. No, I think that's the beauty of it all, right? Is that there's no more gatekeepers, so to speak, when it comes to music. I mean, if you want to go, you can still go the traditional route of a record label, and there are perks to that. You know what I mean? There are perks to have the quote unquote the machine behind you, as well as not. Like, I think now being able to go direct to market, direct to consumer through things like Bandcamp and like my distribution I use is called DistroKid, but they got TuneCore and all these independent distribution channels you can use now to get to the iTunes and the Spotify's and the what's Jay-Z's one, but go
Yeah.
Tidal and all that, right? You have these avenues now that put you in those places. And I think that's a beautiful thing because at this point, Bandcamp, the money comes directly to me versus Tidal and all that. It flows to the distributor and then to me. But it allows me to take control of some things and not have to worry about, what's happening to my money, or am I gonna make anything off this, or here's this advance and let me figure that out. You know what I mean? Like I don't have that worry at this moment, or that not even worry. I don't have that thought or that I don't have to deal with that at this moment. At this moment, all I have to do is put my stuff out and let who gravitates to it gravitate to it. And that, I think for a lot of musicians, that is a blessing. Mm-hmm. And what I found is I had a guy hit me, a brother who plays with me in Orchestra Noir, hit me up after I released my single. He said, "Man, do you know how big that is? That you released the single?" And I was like, "Oh man," and I'm, super appreciative and humble about it all, period. Just because, oh my God, the fact that, thank you, da, da, da. And he was like, so many musicians, and, it's not just musicians, right? This is really anybody who's an artist, as we talked about earlier, won't release something because of the fear of how people want to receive it. And I don't want to be ridiculed, or, perfectionism of it's not exactly how I want it, which it'll never be probably. Now all of that good stuff. And if anything, like I hope, one of the things I tell people, because I've had several people reach out to me and like, you've inspired me to go and like I went and bought some equipment, or I'm going to do my thing. And I'm like, yes, like go and do it. Like it's nothing can hurt you from it. It can only be good from it. And mind you, I get it. Like I get the fear of putting it out, but I'm excited about doing the next one. Like now, like, okay, cool. You know what I mean? I really am. Like it's
good, Tiff. That's excellent. That's what they always say. Once you get the first project, then at least that initial fear, you've kind of crossed that threshold a bit, and it you still have it with everything. Everything's your baby, but it's like you now know you can do it. And
so you hit the button, right? You hit the button and it's published up. And then you're like, okay, now I have to do the social media publicity of it. So you type your little thing, put your little picture up with the link, and you send it. And I said, let me walk away and do something for like a couple of hours, right? Let me go do something for a couple of hours because I'm nervous. And immediately I just thought somebody's come back and be like, you suck! What is this? Right? So I'm like, let me just walk away. And so then when the feedback started coming in, people like, okay, this is cool. Oh, I'm working. Da, 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 da. My little things started being like, you have money. You have money. And I was like, okay. Well, let me see. I mean, this could be auntie and them being like, that's good. Little Tiffany got it. So I was like, let's see how it goes. But as more and more feedback started coming, I was like, okay, I may be onto something here. And I'm just excited I got a chance to do it. Before at least, I didn't get a chance to talk too much about Mr. Ransom at Hampton, but he was my band instructor at Hampton, my trumpet instructor. And so at least that he, he's my only one that's still alive. Thank you, Lordy. Mm-hmm. But, that he got a chance to hear it, and that I feel like if I hadn't done this, like it would have been one of those things, one of those deathbed things. You know what I mean? Like if there's one thing you could have did, what's the one of it would have been this. And I was like, at least I feel like all of that time and investment and love and all that I've put into it, I was happy to see it to come to fruition,
That's amazing. And Good Stuff Basement Series is that an LLC, or is that kind
Good Stuff is the LLC, Good Stuff Entertainment. And underneath that, we have all kind of, we got the Good Stuff Publishing that we did. So we do DJing, the poetry, and so then Good Stuff is my thing, because actually, someone's like, you gonna release on the Soul Rising? I said, no, why would I release on the Soul Rising? Like, Soul Rising is its own entity, its own LLC. If anyone needs an LLC, holler.
Before we talk a little bit more about, because I want to get into you reading and writing music too, but I love that you have basically passed down in your DNA that you have your own musician, so to speak, up and coming, because DJing is a style of, a lot of people don't think about it like that, but it is. I mean, that's kind of the early signs you see of people knowing how to arrange, knowing how to mash up, knowing how to mix sounds, is basically through DJing. And I mean, you see it all the time where you hear people like Dr. Dre, that's by them thinking about how records could mesh, that is how they became who they became. So how does it feel to see Josh? He has his own mixtape.
So I know my baby's gonna probably, I look forward to hearing the interviews with him when he talks about me. Like, I don't know what he's gonna say, but like, to hear how he defines me as a mother, because he plays trumpet. Because he in the school he went to African Center School through middle.
Wow.
And required that you play an instrument, and so I said, you know what, I have an abundance of, son, trumpet. So take this trumpet, and you're gonna go ahead, and that's what you fit to play. So he plays trumpet, and but I never was going to push him into, like, you got to be a trumpet player, but for this you will. So, but I always think it's good to have a basic knowledge of music. I personally love keyboard. Like, I think people should have a basics of piano. I don't. I mean, I have a basics. I mean, you have to do a certain amount of piano proficiency to graduate from college, but so then my brother's a DJ. So, he used to see John DJ, and he'd be like, okay, that was cool. And so he would play on his DJ equipment some. And so a couple years ago, John bought him his own. So that's when he started really kind of doing it, like at 12. But, he had been fiddling with it before. And so, this is kind of goes into Outliers, the whole concept of the book Outliers. But anyway, because I do music and I have digital audio workstation equipment with licensing. So then I put my digital audio workstation equipment on his computer. And so he's able to record and do his stuff. So he has a keyboard in his room and all of that. And so he gets to tinker and record and, play with beats and making beats and all of that good stuff. So, so it's been interesting, and seeing his musical side develop. I mean, he said to me for a while now that, like, I think I want to do audio engineering. I was like, okay.
Wow.
And then it may change, and that's fine. But that's what you want to do, that's cool. But, doing some, of course he wants to be an NBA player. That's one.
Oh, of course. Yeah.
Number two is like, okay, I like to do this music thing. And then, if I don't become an NBA player, then, maybe I could train people or something.
Which could happen, because I'm telling you, the pathways even into the NBA now are not the way they used to be either. I mean, which I love.
You can find different ways to figure it out. Like, if you want to do it, and I just firmly believe that if it's in your will, like if it's what you're supposed to do, all you got to do is continue to be diligent in what you're doing. Like, when I'm like, I don't know when we're going to go into American Soul and all that.
But that, actually, yeah.
But divine. That's nothing but divinity. That's nothing but God. That's nothing to do with me. That's nothing but right place, right time, opportunity meets.
The fact that you get to play Cynthia Robinson, who was a co-founder of Sly and the Family Stone, and also, I mean, because they had a relationship too. I mean, there's just so much about her story. Like you said, she was that cool, like laid back, unassuming trumpet player. But talk to me about how that experience with American Soul, because you used to act years ago. So it's kind of a culmination again of all your talents coming together.
Well, you know what? And so as a kid, right? this was the dream. As a kid, you know, I'm gonna be on, you know what I mean? This is the dream, right? Who knew, right? So America, so let me just say how that came about. I had, you know, just off of that orchestra noir, same thing. I just come home from Charlotte. I'm at home. I think we just did a practice or something. And the same brother who hit me up and said, man, do you know that, come on, shout out Will Jacks. Come on, Will. Yes, okay. He hit me up and said, hey, Tiff, I don't know, you know, if you're interested or whatever, but dude just sent me this. They're looking for a female trumpet player, Black female trumpet player for this role for American Soul. Here's the you know, the link. Okay. I'm just sitting at the house like, sure, I'll fill it out now, right? I have auditions and all that because I had to audition for Orchestra Noir and other stuff. So I was like, I have audition stuff on YouTube that I can pull. So I filled the little thing out, boom, 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 attached my little video, send it on. And I mean, before the night's over, they hit me back and said, okay, yeah, we want to cast you. Tomorrow, can you come in and do a fitting? So let me just say this. There are times in my life that this has happened. When I went to get the job at Turner, it was the easiest thing I ever did in my life. And when I have people telling me horror stories about trying to get a Turner for 5 and 10 years, right? Like there are times that things happen for me that it's just like, you know what I mean? And I'm like, thank you, God. So I'm like, okay, cool. So several things happen in this thing, right? So they tell me the rate, 3 days, here's the rate. I'm ecstatic about the rate already, right? Which was like $200 a day. I'm like, yes, banging. So then, you know, they're like, let's, you know, I go in, I get fitted, all this stuff. I'm trying to record little stuff. And they're like, okay, you know, I don't think you're supposed to be recording. I was like, okay.
No.
So, but I have like great little video and stuff that, you know, I'm sure they don't care anything about on the back end, which I'll
no. Yeah, once they start airing, no, you definitely can start putting that stuff up.
Like, so yeah, even this little picture, like I was like, oh, they put the picture on Essence, so I could put the picture on my thing. All right, great. But so the lady hits me back and it's like, listen, so for Sly and the Family Stone, Cynthia, all of his people participate in the performance. Like they, you know, Cynthia has speaking, singing, all these roles. So they're like, well, they said that these are speaking parts, so it's a SAG, it's now a SAG thing.
So that rate changed. Yes.
Girl,
the SAG contracts, they're headache for producers, but they are great for actors. Like,
so she was like, so here's your new rate, right? She told me my new rate. And I said, that was real cool too. Oh, okay, well, thank you. You know, and then got the phone. You God, right?
Yeah.
You know, I'm at this point, I'm strictly a musician. At this moment in my life, and amen to that. And I knew I was the day that I said it. The day that I said it to somebody, it was like, what are you doing? I was like, I'm a musician. I said, pause. Who said that? That's when I knew I was a musician. So I was like, okay. So she told me this thing, and I was like, okay, great. So they tell us, you know, they fitted, did the whole thing. And, you know, and so then we get ready to go. And so they give us our music, tell me, you know, hey, so we're doing these songs and these songs. So we need you to do these parts and these parts. Great. And I get there day one. So, you know, amen. Just period off that. I get there day one, and, you know, we go through the whole process. And this is my first thing. Like, I have 2 episodes on Boomerang 2 now, but this was my first thing, right? Not 2 episodes. That made it seem big. I am a background person on 2 episodes of Boomerang.
No, hey, it goes places. There's a lot of, Cuba Gooding Jr. didn't say a word in Coming to America. Remember, he was in that barbershop chair.
Oh, he was in the barbershop chair. I was like, where was he? You're right. He was just quiet. Mm-hmm. So, girl, yeah, and I'm open to it, right? Because I didn't see this. This was not planned. It wasn't on my vision board. It wasn't, you know, this was not planned. It totally was like, Like, okay. Girl, but it was the best, okay? Everybody was cool. Now I'm a principal, whatever, so now I get all the snacks. I was excited. I was like, what? They were like, oh, no, you can go in this.
Service, yes.
No, I went to get the M&Ms. They was like, oh, wait. Oh, yeah. I got shrimp and grits. Girl, wait till my pictures come out. I was like, oh, it was great. I had a trailer. What?
Yes.
So everybody was like, and it was a SAG job. So now I'm able to do SAG. You know, if I want.
No, when I saw you, yeah, people don't realize how that SAG, I mean, once you get that speaking role, how that can just, like, it's a quick trajectory. Like, you know, you are a working actress then. And
right.
When I saw photos and it was like you were part of Sly and the Family Stone, I was like, is Tiff doing acting and I didn't even know what was going on? I'm like, wait a minute, you're just not featured as Cynthia Robinson. She was such a big part of that group. And
girl, it's funny too. Wait till y'all see it. Like, it's like, first off, DC Young Fly is.
I was gonna ask you what it was like working with him.
Hilarious. Like, he is absolutely a silly funny man, but a joy to be around. Like, he's funny the whole time. And girl, you saw the llama, us walking with the llama. Girl, the llama, yeah, they got to talking to us about, listen, so we had to be quiet around the llama, don't make any sudden movements or noise around the llama because he'll spit and kick.
Oh,
girl. So he didn't do any of that, but that daggone DCM Fly won't playing either. That mug start moving, he'd be like, I need my teeth. It was fun though. We had some really fun times. If I something like 1, 2, I'm in like 4 scenes. Like, I'm even in a scene that, you know, like, hey, we need some band members in this scene, and so you be here with her, like, you know, like with the principal, with Don Cornelius's assistant.
Wow.
It's good. I mean, but just to really delve into Cynthia Robinson, and you know, I went back and listened to a lot of her interviews, and went back and just read up on her even that much more, like, you know, more than just the surface of knowing who she was, but really like, who is Cynthia Robinson, and how they met, and, you know, like, she started on F horn and not on trumpet, and
oh wow.
the trumpet wasn't her main instrument, and she met him really, like, you know, like she was in high school, and, you know, he was a little old, all that, but and just to hear her story and to be able to depict her, I felt honored. Like that's the reason why I had to go in and really, like, let me really find out, like, I'm about to play a female trumpet player, famous female trumpet player.
I know. Does it feel extremely surreal? Because it feels surreal just hearing it from you and knowing you for so long, and then seeing how, I mean, Tiff, you're like Ice Cube before, like, he was Ice Cube. Like, you're like, you're released, like, everything's coming to fruition at one point, and it's how does that feel with you're acting and performing at the same time?
It feels divine, right? It really does. It feels like, so let me just say, you know, like if I were to speak to people, I'm 45, right? I'm 45, right?
Don't look it. She doesn't look it.
Thank you, right? But like at 45, you're not thinking, so you're like either this must having a midlife crisis, and it's possible. It's possible. I haven't denied that could be what's happening a little bit. But it speaks to, like, God gives you something, right? He plants a seed in you, and I'm a firm believer that you know that thing when you're young. I'm a firm believer, whether or not you know that that's it, but you know it, but you're like, you know, different things will keep you from it. And whether or not you do it at 25 or 45, you should just do it. Like, when I talk to people now, and they're like, oh my God, I'm so excited that, you know, I'm like, man, I always wanted to go do it. It's meant for you to do it. If this tells me nothing else, it's like God is like, I've been waiting on you. I've been waiting on you. Like, if you, you know, the saying is, you know, you take one step, God takes two. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like I feel that. Like I took this step, and it's like I was like, see, if you're just taking a step years ago, you could have been on this trajectory. That's, if anything, not a regret, but I'd be like, man, I should have did this a long time ago. But I understand that the culmination of my experiences is what brought me to this point. But man, I mean, to be able to, like I said, to pick Cynthia Robinson, be in this moment, I feel like it is very surreal. It's very like, what's happening right now? You know what I mean? I think different people are taking it different ways too. Like, you know, I think people are like, you know, like I said, inspired, you know, and
I know I am. It's amazing to watch. That is
oh, thanks, boo.
beautiful.
It's been beautiful to do. Like, I mean, definitely with stepping out of my fear to do the album, well, to release the album, and having it being received in the way that's being received, like, my goodness, I'm so pleased with that. I'm so like in awe of it. Excuse me, in awe of it on a daily basis. And so still humbled by people's comments when someone's like, man, this has helped me through this time. Thank you. When someone's like, you know, man, I had a bad day, but I listened to Forward Movement today and it was great. When someone's like, man, I jammed to Do It for $1. Like a lot of people, you know, because Do It for $1 is my stripper song. I'm in Atlanta. You know what I mean?
Do It for $1 is great.
But it is, to me, whatever you're doing it for $1. Like, look, you know, figure it out. But you can stay in corporate America and do it for $1. But you just stripping in a cube. Or you can, you know, so if you want to be sitting here doing that, this is what you want to do. You know, stripping in a cube, do what something you want to do. And do, you know, whatever you're doing, do it for $1, but do something you want to do. So, yeah, so to hear that, and people saying, yeah, this is the music that I need during this time, because there are a lot of beautiful musicians out there, and artists out there who are sharing, you know, their work. But I don't know how many jazz people who I hear often anymore. And I don't listen to WCLK, which is our local station. They still play a lot of traditional, is what we call it, jazz. Like, you know, you get your Esperanzas, which I told you I love Esperanza, you know what I mean? But you know, a lot of things, like I don't hear it as much.
And because you're driving cities still too, you get to hear more on the radio, whereas now people really have to invest in Sirius or invest to really hear things, because that's what's so fascinating too. Everything's changed to where you have to take in music, so you really have a choice of where you can listen, you know, what you want to listen to, so people aren't being exposed to different types of genres like they used to when you had the radio, you know.
Exactly.
Yeah.
True. You know, and I hadn't even thought about that, but that's so true. Like, how we receive it now is different than back in the day. I even think this time right here, the coronavirus time, it may spark a new renaissance. But
oh yes,
of things, right? As people are sitting at home, and I see a lot of people creating, especially my creators. Like, my creators are finding a way and making a way. You hear me? They're like, hey, you know what I mean? I'm doing this. Like, people are looking at our house like, what aren't y'all doing? Like, you know, we got the podcast on Fridays. I think my brother's releasing short stories. Like, you know, he's doing the Moth. You heard the Moth, the storytelling series?
yeah.
Host the Moth, like, you know, so he's hosted the virtual Moth, the first virtual Moth they had a couple weeks ago here at the house. He's in the upstairs, you know what I mean? So it's like this whole thing. But I see my creators creating, and I think that's a beautiful thing. One, probably have the mind, space, and time to do it outside of their 9 to 5 or whatever, because it is quiet. And I just see a rebirth of a lot of arts things. I think that's a beautiful thing. I'm excited to see what comes artistically out of this moment, and I'm excited to see how this world is fitting to change so drastically coming out of here. Like,
I mean, you can have sets the same, honestly, right away. So it will be interesting to see what it looks like. And I do think immersive and VR and, you know, interactive is going to really, those people that had the finger on the pulse early, it's something that I really wanted to start exploring, because I am kind of fascinated by interactive storytelling, because I like feeling like you're in the mix of the story and being able to choose your adventure. So I'm excited to see where that goes. Like mocap has always fascinated me, but what it's becoming now, oh.
I think it's going to be really interesting. I'm actually shocked that Second Life for virtual reality kind of stuff online. Like I was like D-Nice.
Yeah.
Club thing. And people talking like they're at the club and getting drinks. I was like, this is perfect for Second Life. I don't even know why Second Life hasn't automatically like, bet, let's get together with them. We can create Club Quarantine, really. You can bring an avatar in and like really go through this thing. Like, I think that would be a huge thing. I think how people are going to relate coming out of this is going to be different. Our work is going to be different. School is going to be different. So much is going to change from this. I'm excited a little bit to see.
I'm excited too. I liked it. Like you said, it was nice having this time to really think and to be able to take the time to think and process and take things in. But what else is next for Tiffany Goode? Like what's coming down the pipeline? I mean, you have Solarizing. You mentioned Orchestra Noir, so I'd like you to talk about that. And then any other bands or anything else you're a part of. And if you have any other projects we should look out for.
Beautiful. Okay, so what's up, right? What's not, I guess, right? I'm excited to see myself. So I know I'm going to work on my next project. My brother was like, so I had another brother who's a creative too. He's in LA. He released a mixtape too, if you will. But not really a mixtape. No, it's not a mixtape. It's not a mixtape because all his songs are original. So it's not a mixtape, but it's more of a, that kind of feeling. So I sent him my stuff. So he's going to remix this album. So we're going to see how that goes. So I'm excited about that. And working on the next one. Working on Soul Rising's album for sure. That's going to be so much fire. Like the personalities, the woman energy that's in that room, that's in that group is beautiful. Like it's explosive. So we got somebody who reminds you a whole lot of Erykah Badu.
Wow.
We have somebody who reminds you a whole lot of Betty Davis, or like a real, like who's my girl? She played
Kit.
Yes,
love her. Oh my God.
All of that feminine sexual energy. We got one of those. Like, those are
Jamaican, Tiff, or
we have no one. This is the other thing. We have no one who is from an island of any sort, who's Caribbean of any sort. So that's always the question. So this is the beautiful part about Soul Rising, also the interesting part. Whenever we go somewhere and we jam, and people love us, and they always come up and be like, who's Caribbean?
They come up speaking patois, and you're like, wait a minute.
It's like nobody, but so our two lead singers, Greer and Paris, whose names are Energy and P-Funk,
oh wow,
they played in a reggae band in Memphis for 10 years before being here. So they've been in the culture for so long. But so it was like nobody like directly, what I mean? Some people got aunties and stuff or whatever.
That's who you played with on Facebook, right? When I've seen you playing. Yeah, that's amazing. You guys are really good.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, no, it's been good. It's been so interesting. It's been such a bringing out an interesting part of me. Like all these things bring out little bits and pieces. But so that Orchestra Noir is like I said, an ensemble that I play with, but they contract and expand as needed. So when it's the big orchestra I play, sometimes when it's small, it just depends on what it is. But I love it. It's run by a brother named Jason Akeem, who is an accomplished pianist, but also a conductor. He went to school for conducting, and he actually told me to play trumpet too. I said, "Shut up, Jason!"
Wow.
And what he's doing is phenomenal. And there are a couple of other places that's doing something similar as far as the all black orchestra. Not many though, and he does it in a phenomenal way. When I say that, meaning that he has all the pieces. He is charismatic, business minded, all of that. So even last year I went and did some recording at one of the big studios. I want to say maybe Capitol Records here or something like that, for some potential artists, big artists, but some tracks that's going to be shot to them. And that came through Jason. So a lot of different little stuff like that. So I know there were several things coming up that got thwarted based on Corona. But definitely plan to, I'm sure we're going to be doing stuff once this whole thing ends or whatever happens with that. So big things in the works there. Orchestra Noir is a beast all unto itself, you know, sans Tiffany, without Tiffany, like they've been doing it big. But it has been a blessing to be a part of that, and such, you know, great musicians and great energy, and I believe in what he's trying to do, or not even what he's trying to do, what he's doing. And let's see, other things outside of that, really producing more music itself. I definitely want to do some more background acting, if not other stuff. But I'm going to let that kind of lead. I don't know, like there's, you know, certain times where you'll go in and you'll be like, I'm now going to go take acting classes. I'm not there. So I don't know if I'm going to be, you know, reality television. Maybe I'll be there. We got an all-female band. It's spicy. Okay? It's spicy. You might want to follow.
You're too talented, Tiff. I'm telling you, some of these folks, they'll spell they firstborn for. I'm like, oh Lord, stop it. One thing, you've always been funny, and when Dave Chappelle said that comedians and musicians kind of go hand in hand because it's about timing, and I never even thought about it like that until like when he said it in Block Party in that documentary, and I was like, that is so true. And you always had the singers and the one-liners. And I was like, gosh, I never pinned it to the fact that because she was a musician. So I think that your talents are going to be more towards the narrative side.
That's definitely something that I'll be doing in the future, is more music for film and television. Like, so I didn't talk about this. I did one movie that I have a song placed in one movie. It's called Joy Road.
Okay, so that is you. Mm-hmm. Oh my gosh, I saw it when I was like, did Tiffany compose this film and I didn't even know? Okay. Oh my gosh.
I love looking at a piece of film or reading something and visualizing, oh man, this is what I see, or this is what I hear from it, right? I love that part of it. So that's definitely in my future, and I'd love to work with you. Like,
yes, and you even went the distance of getting a degree from Berkeley, which is a very highly accredited school.
That is the one thing that I will say corporate America did afford me, is the opportunity to invest in what I wanted to do from a passion standpoint, to get my equipment, to go get more education, like, thank you, corporate America, because it actually a lot of that piece of me, which I'm appreciative of. Mm-hmm.
What age did you start learning how to read and write music?
Third grade, right? Third grade when I started, right? Read. I guess I was starting to write in college, because I was starting to produce in college. So I was starting to come up with those types of things, but really taking a thought from beginning to its endpoint. Yeah, it was Atlanta for sure. It was probably me getting my equipment here at the house and feeling it was a safe space to try, you know what I mean, to try and fail. And, oh, that sounds pretty good. So probably here was when I really first started, you know, doing stuff and being like, hey guys, I play trumpet. You know, and big up to Malik Salam is my brother who did the films, who was like, Tiff, hey, I'm gonna need you to score every Scar and Dimple for me. And I'm like, bet, you know. I think I've always felt like my music was different. And I think, like a lot of people, you think, I don't know if people are gonna get it. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know if they're gonna get it or not. And my brother always like, it doesn't matter if they get it. All that matters is if you like it. John, that's not how you sound if you watch this. You know, and it's true, right? But it's like, I don't want people to like it, you know, but I want to like it. And even at Berkeley, I felt like I got good, people be like, oh yeah, that was nice, that was cool. But it wasn't always, wasn't nobody like, that was the best thing ever, and I liked a lot of the stuff I did. Like, I really did. But anyway, so.
It was like a rite of passage.
Right. I think, my desire to evoke emotion out of people, like to really, in a moment, like in my songs, even on the album, like Movement 1, the 4th song, like, to me, if you don't feel that, like, to me, that's a feeling song, like, and I meant for it to be that. I meant for you to feel like somebody singing to you, but like, I meant for you to feel that, like, and I feel like that's what songs are meant to do. It's meant to transport you, like TV, like a film. It's meant to transport you to another place.
Yeah.
And that's why I love film.
It's a beginning, middle, and end, like a story. It is.
Yeah, absolutely, it should be. Yeah, so I love that. That's why I one of the reasons why I was so taken with, really wanting to do music for film and television. Like, I was like, I really want to be able to tell that part of the story. Like, I really want to be able to set the scene, for that moment that's happening right there. Like, oh yeah, like, this is how I feel in that moment. Like, oh my gosh,
Wow.
So, yeah. I look forward.
Oh, definitely. That is something that I finally have to get past my fears in film.
Shay, you're going to move past that. We're going to move past it together. Listen, take me as the story. Shay, your greatness is past that fear. That fear is an illusion, and it's meant to stop you just because the greatness is right thereafter. Like, please do it, and you will feel 5,000%. Let's go with 5 million%. Like, oh my God, what in the world I was doing. I
can't tell you how inspiring seeing what you've done has been, and being able to just follow that. That's the one beautiful thing I always say about social platforms, is being able to still be able, because how would we all connect from Hampton if we didn't have it, right? It's just so many people who you are blessed to cross paths with, but how will we be able to share in one another's lives if we didn't? But I would like you to give the audience all your handles.
Oh yeah.
Where they can find you. And of course, Bandcamp is where you can find Today Was a Good Day. American Soul season 2 starts airing May 27th. Everybody on BET, check your local on your phone. You can find where everything is, and go onto essence.com also to see the amazing photos of it's going to be great. They're covering the Pointer Sisters, Sly and the Family Stone. It's going to be really cool. Shaka, and I saw Shaka. I was like, I forgot all about Melanie Fro. And until I saw her, I was like, oh my gosh, she's playing Shaka Khan. So yeah, she was good. So I'm actually more excited to see this season, because it's bands that you're like, oh, your parents were playing and you got excited to hear. So I
go back and watch the first season, because the story of Don Cornelius, first Don was a pimp. Go Don. But Don was a pimp, but Don was also a gangster. Go Don.
I heard he was like nobody to play with.
Come on, Don, come with it. You gotta see the first season. The first season, I was like, I was in. Like, so when the second season came and it was like, you're gonna be in American Soul too, I was like, I loved American Soul. I was there for everyone, like, that's great. I love it. So definitely peep it out. Like, it might be even binge worthy. So definitely peep it. It's really, really, really good.
Now, where's all the handles that people can find you at, Tiff?
At Instagram, I am at Life's Good. Good with an E on the end. Good always has an E on the end.
Yeah.
So Instagram at Life's Good. Twitter at Life's Good. Facebook, Tiffany Goode. I probably should do it. Life's Good. My website is goodstuff.net. And what am I missing? Oh, so right. So on Bandcamp, it's anywhere digital platform. It's on any digital platform. Today Was a Good Day. You can find it anywhere at this point. You can stream it, all of that good stuff. So have a good time with it. Share it. All of that. I think that's it.
Everybody, Tiffany Goode. She has a very special place in my heart, but I hope that you will let her into yours, because she's absolutely amazing. talented artist, soon to be very talented actress.
Thank you, Shay Shay.
So
Look,
many great things coming your way. I'm so happy for you.
like us talking with coffee or something. Like I feel like we've just been catching up. That's what I feel like we've been doing.
Tiffany,
I love you, boo.
I love you too.
I'm so honored to be the first. Let me just say.
Oh my gosh, I love it. So ladies and gentlemen, Tiffany Goode, good with an E.
Good with an E.
Love having you, Tiff.
Love you, boo.
Love you too. You take care.
You too, boo.